Top 10 Secrets and Mysteries. Unexplained Messages. There are still many secrets of human history that have not yet been revealed. Though some will always remain a mystery, we may come to understand others with the help of archaeological discoveries or written records left behind by ancient civilizations. Which messages from the past have we yet to decipher? Here are 10 of the most fascinating and mysterious unexplained messages. Nazca Lines. In the desert region of the Pacific coast in northern Peru are peculiar shapes. They are located near the temple complex of Cahuachi, the ceremonial center of the Nazca culture, which was based here for the first 5 centuries AD. The Nazca people put their offerings inside the ceremonial center, offerings to the temple, offerings to the ceremonial center, offerings for the life they had developed, the religious life they developed within this culture. There are animals, flowers, trees, and geometric shapes. The indigenous people of Nazca carved over 300 shapes into the ground between 200 BC and 500 AD. The puzzle here isn't how the shapes were created, but their incredible geometric accuracy, the moving of large obstacles to create them, and the fact that they can be seen from up to 150 meters above the ground. Julian Knott, an expert in hot air balloons, has a theory that ancient cultures knew how to construct primitive hot air balloons, allowing them to view creations like this from above. The purpose of these geoglyphs is another mystery. Mystery expert Erich von Däniken believes that they are navigation markers left for spacecraft. He claims that long before their creation, extraterrestrials landed in this area, and the natives passed legends about them from generation to generation. Another hypothesis states that they are a gigantic astronomical calendar in which the individual lines point to significant positions in the sky. Most scientists, however, do not believe any of these theories. They believe that the signs once marked places with groundwater used for irrigation. This is supposedly demonstrated by a nearby stone spiral on the ground. They were also thought to be part of a sophisticated water system. However, we still lack hard evidence for this claim, and the purpose of the Nazca Lines still remains a mystery. Voynich Manuscript. But there's another collection of symbols even more intriguing than the Nazca Lines. Even after decades of analyzing the Voynich Manuscript, we still have no idea what it says. In the early 20th century, historical sites in Europe were a popular destination for treasure hunters and collectors of unique artifacts and antiquities. In 1912, one such hunter, a Polish collector named Wilfried Michael Voynich, found a strange manuscript in an Italian convent, written in an unknown language. He discovered that the Austrian Emperor Rudolf II had bought the text from the English alchemist and occultist John Dee in 1585. For over 100 years, researchers from around the world have been fascinated by this manuscript. In its pages, there are depictions of plants, paintings of nymphs bathing in tubs connected with pipes, astronomical symbols, sketches and maps. There are many theories that attempt to explain this strange artifact. One of them states that the manuscript is written in Enochian, the language of the angels. Others believe that the text was created in the late Middle Ages in Asia. And the theory of researcher Arthur Tucker explores the possibility that the manuscript is written in the Nahuatl language, which was used by the Aztecs of Central America. According to Tucker, drawings of some plants in the manuscript correspond to species that grew in Central and South America at that time. But so far there's no evidence to either prove or disprove any of these theories. Flower of Life. Most messages and symbols are unique to one particular place, but there's one symbol that occurs across cultures, religions, and places. This is the flower of life, an esoteric symbol found on ancient sacred objects, in the symbolism of Gothic cathedrals, in stained glass windows in places of worship, and in the roots of many religious teachings. The New Age movement put forth the hypothesis that the flower of life, which is made up of 13 intersecting circles of equal size, contains crucial information about the nature of space and time. The writer, Drunvalo Melchizedek, claims that the symbol depicts the creation of the world and life itself, a kind of divine formula. Sacred geometry says that some forms and shapes have a deep spiritual significance and can hold the meaning of human life. It's said that one person who solved the mystery of the flower of life was Leonardo Da Vinci, who also used it in the creation of the Vitruvian Man. Arguably, the most famous flower of life is in Beijing's Forbidden City. Under the foot of the Fu dog, a traditional Chinese stone lion, is a ball representing the world. But what exactly is the link between this sculpture, a symbol of protection and the guardian of knowledge, and the flower of life? Perhaps we'll never know. Puma Punku. Our next mysterious message lies in the South American Andes, near the Bolivian city of Tiwanaku. This site holds one of the greatest mysteries on the continent: strange stone blocks that look like giant scattered building blocks. Their size and weight vary, but they have one thing in common: elaborate stonework that is geometrically perfect. All of the blocks lie on a terrace of diorite stone, which itself weighs over 460 tons. Experts have been interested in these stones for hundreds of years. They were first mentioned in the 16th century by the conquistadors, who embarked on dangerous expeditions to reach this place. Yet despite centuries of study, we still know very little. For instance, it's not clear when these stones were created. Researcher Arthur Poznansky believes that they may be up to 15,000 years old. Some archaeologists believe that the creators of these artifacts were the indigenous Aymara people. But how could a primitive tribe move so many stones, some of which weighed tens of tons? Mentions of Puma Punku can also be found in ancient legends of the indigenous people. They say that the gods built a temple in one night. Some people believe that these gods were aliens, and that it was a building in which they met with humans. Could Puma Punku be proof that we are not alone in the universe? Leonardo da Vinci's paintings. Experts on mysteries consider Leonardo da Vinci to be a master of hiding symbols and messages in his work. According to Dan Brown, Da Vinci was a member of the secret society, the Priory of Zion. Many other researchers are also confident that his paintings are full of hidden symbols, allusions, and predictions. Perhaps Leonardo's most famous work, in this sense, is The Last Supper. While investigating it, some researchers were drawn to the figure standing to the right of Jesus, who has distinctly feminine features. Many mystery experts therefore believe that it's not the Apostle John, as claimed by the Church, but in fact Mary Magdalene, who members of the Priory of Zion believed was Christ's wife. In addition, Leonardo took great care to highlight the number 3. There are 3 windows in the background and 3 groups of 3 apostles. Was he simply emphasizing the Christian Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit? Or was he referring to something else? The speculation around the image does not end here. The painting's also said to be hiding a dark prophecy about the end of the world. An equally famous painting by Leonardo is the Mona Lisa. A few years ago, one researcher claimed that the letters S and L are hidden in her eyes, and the number 72 is represented in the background. The meaning of this finding is still debated. One theory says the letters may be a clue to the true identity of the Mona Lisa, and the number 72 is a mystical symbol of the Kabbalah and Christianity. There are many more hypotheses about the Mona Lisa. According to one, it's actually an encrypted self-portrait of Leonardo himself. And so innumerable investigations were conducted. The enigmatic smile, the landscape in the background, the position of her hands. Someone even said, no, she's not a woman, she's a transvestite. It's Leonardo da Vinci himself. And they've also superimposed Leonardo's face onto the Giocondas to demonstrate that it is the same face. It's also unclear whether Leonardo created multiple versions of this painting or not. One of them surfaced in 2012 in Zurich, while another was found in London's Dulwich Picture Gallery. What can be said for certain, however, is that Leonardo's work is incredibly complex. Mummies. Ancient mummies have been found on almost every continent. They're a link between the past and the present, and provide insights into ancient cultures and their peoples. Despite all our modern science and technology, mummies remain shrouded in mystery. Modern research on mummies began in the 19th century, and thousands of mummies have already been uncovered. Thanks to modern technology, we're not only able to better preserve them, we can also determine what the mummified people looked like and how they lived their lives. The Egyptians believed that every time we remember a person and pronounce their name, she continues to live on. So, in a way, we're fulfilling the desires of the ancient Egyptians. We're returning them to life by reading their names again, and by discovering a little about their lives. But much information about mummies remains unknown. For example, the Iceman Ötzi, who was discovered in 1991, high in the mountains on the border between Italy and Austria. To this day, we do not know how he died or who he was. similar questions were raised in the case of the mummy found in 1993 on the Siberian plain of Ukok. The remains of the Altai princess, as she's known, still fascinate people today, mainly due to her elaborate tattoos, which some consider to be a message or a symbol of her status. In some cases, uncovering ancient mummies can be dangerous, as is the case with Egyptian mummies. It's believed that the burial chambers that hold them were sealed with spells, used to curse anyone who tried to open them. Some people believe that when the mummy of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun was excavated, one of these curses was released. However, we don't have to delve that deep into history to learn about the past. One of the most famous mummies, the body of the well-known communist revolutionary Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, is proof of that. Cave paintings. Our advanced scientific knowledge would have us believe we know practically everything about early man. But when we look at what our ancestors left behind, it's clear that there are still many things we don't understand. Why, for example, did our ancestors create cave paintings? Probably the most famous cave paintings are located in the Lascaux caves in France. Here, in these deep caves, there are 150 paintings and around 15,000 engravings. Some researchers are convinced that the paintings attest to contact between prehistoric humans and an extraterrestrial civilization. They depict creatures with stars instead of eyes, and above the painting of a bull is an illustration of the constellation Pleiades, which, according to many myths, is the place from where beings from space descended to Earth in ancient times. Other archaeological sites raise similar questions. Take, for example, the Creswell Crags cave in Great Britain, where ancient hunters left behind their paintings more than 13,000 years ago, or the Brazilian cave of Pedra Pintada. However, it's the Chauvet cave in France that raises the most questions. Scientists have discovered that the paintings in this cave are around 35,000 years old, much older than any others nearby. Some of the paintings are very strange, including depictions of human-animal hybrids, palm impressions with missing fingers, and bizarre, unknown creatures. Is it possible that these findings support the theory that our ancestors communicated with an extraterrestrial race? Crystal skulls. Crystal skull are considered the most amazing pieces of work that humans have ever created with their own hands. They have fascinated experts and the general public for over 120 years, and we still have not been able to find out who created them.
Originally, the skulls were said to have come from Mexico and to be ancient Aztec skulls. And in the 1860s, they started selling them to European collectors.
There are many crystal skulls around the world, but only 4 are so precise that they're believed to have ancient origins. The first was bought by the British Museum in 1881. The second is in Paris, and the third is in the Smithsonian Institution in the USA. The most famous skull, however, is that which Mitchell Hedges, traveler and adventurer, found in the 1930s in the Central American state of Belize. He was convinced that it was 3,600 years old and had served Mayan priests performing magic rituals. Mystery experts point to a legend about the skulls. according to which they were made by members of an ancient civilization and then acquired by the indigenous peoples of the Americas. They say that there are 12 skulls in total, and bringing them together would prevent the impending destruction of the world. Indigenous tribes attribute magical properties to the skulls. They're said to possess a powerful energy that can heal as well as kill. Are there still 8 crystal skulls to be discovered? And if so, what will happen when they are discovered? Sacsayhuaman. The giant citadel of Sacsayhuaman, near the Peruvian city of Cusco, is thought to be a message of the resilience and eternity of the Inca Empire. According to historians, it was the Incas who constructed this monumental building, consisting of huge, precisely worked and perfectly interlocking stone blocks. The precise age of the building has yet to be determined, but most experts agree that the upper part of the megalithic wall was created around 1,000 years ago. No one has managed to determine when the bottom part was constructed. The foundations of the whole building, which is in fact a religious temple, were, according to myth, built by ancestors of the Incas, led by the mighty god Viracocha, who descended from the heavens and imbued the structure with a powerful energy that gave warriors strength, courage, and power to overcome their enemies. When the writer Alan Landsberg placed a compass in a cavity in the wall, the needle started to rotate, implying a special magnetic force within the mountain. Even today, we can't say for certain how a relatively primitive people could build a giant wall of stones, some of which weigh 200 tons, and place them together so that not even a sheet of paper can be inserted between them. What secrets does this wall hold? Terracotta Army. Our most fascinating unexplained messages are hidden in the famous Terracotta Army. This collection of sculptures depicting Chinese soldiers is known as the 8th wonder of the world. But where did this famous Terracotta Army come from? And what is it guarding? The story of its discovery begins in 1974, near a small village in China. A group of local people were digging a well when they discovered several strange fragments in the ground. They soon realized that there was a precious piece of history right under their feet, and archaeologists who were called to the scene were amazed at the riches they found. After the first terracotta statues were uncovered, speculation about their purpose began. Most researchers agree that the terracotta statues served as a demonstration of China's tremendous strength. Their placement in front of the tomb of a Chinese emperor, who probably reigned in the 3rd century BC, indicates that they were also protective, scaring away potential grave robbers.
7,000 of these figures here were created by the first emperor of China, Shi to guard him in the afterlife forever. And he's one of the most important men in human history. He created the country we now know as China.
Anyone who's seen the warriors with their own eyes will agree that they command awe and respect. There are 8,000 individual statues, ranging from 170 to 200 centimeters in height, and they're all different, from their facial expressions to their armor. This ancient army and its mausoleum remain a mystery. The techniques used in their construction were nothing short of remarkable for the time. According to some estimates, 700,000 people had to work for 40 years to construct them. That's why many experts agree that the Terracotta Army and the mausoleum is proof that ancient cultures possess knowledge and technology much more advanced than we previously thought. Unexplained messages. Every day there are new revelations about our ancestors. But what about the messages they left behind? These messages have existed for centuries, and yet we're no closer to understanding them now than we were when we first discovered them. Will they ever be deciphered?